Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Come on!
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show. It's our daily study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, a commitment to show up for the Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Great to see all our Zoomers here. If you want to join Zoom, you can. It's fun. We all look at each other, write each other secret messages. Kastuba happens to be here live with me today. Usually he's in New York City, but we're having a big Wisdom of the Sages meeting with Linda,
Oh, wow.
Miss Mara, and we're excited for it today. So Kastuba's here. He's going to be here tomorrow. I'm excited.
Good to be here.
Good to be here. Hold pinkies under the desk. That's okay with me. What's going on with you? We had a nice night last night, didn't we?
Yes, that was nice.
Went to Sachi Sutta and Kaylee Lolita's house in Albany. Had a nice Ekadasi dinner.
Beautiful home. Nice
Beautiful
kirtan, little
home.
Bhagavatam.
Little kirtan, little 10th canto.
Pundraka story.
The story of Pundraka is always a winner. The fake Vasudev.
A lot of killing going on.
A lot of killing. It wasn't a feel-good story until you
Yeah.
realized that Pundraka was liberated.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful part of it. Yeah, sometimes people they read those sweet baby Krishna stories, and then they skip out on the whole, Krishna's adult life, so to speak.
Yeah.
And there's so much great stories.
Yeah.
Dvivida Gorilla, come on! If you're listening to the show and you haven't read Dvivida Gorilla yet, you should stop everything right after the show and read Dvivida Gorilla story. Shalva, that's a great one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usha and Aniruddha, that's one of my favorites.
Very romantic.
Romantic, very romantic. And the son-in-law goes off, Aniruddha goes crazy. He fights a whole team of people with like a pipe. And he wins.
Love will.
He wins. Not Magilla Gorilla, although it sounds like Magilla Gorilla. Dvivida Gorilla. I always thought of Magilla Gorilla too.
Let's move on.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Keeping it transcendental.
Do we have
Mara,
any announcements?
we got any announcements here? And here she comes. Bring on.
We're back to recovery group meetings today at noon and 1:30. Tomorrow's Cult of Cain asana class for Patreon members at 10:30 a.m. And tomorrow's show will be at the same time at 6 a.m. Eastern time.
Thank you, Mara. Like your earrings.
We
Hip-hop
notice
earrings,
these
we call
things.
them. We notice them.
All right. Nugget?
Oh, I got a nugget for you, my friend.
Who's it from?
It is from Albert Camus.
What do you know about Albert Camus?
I knew he wrote The Stranger. I know that he
The Stranger,
drove his
yes.
car off a cliff. People think it's suicide.
Oh.
He was one of those deep philosophers, considered an existentialist, I think. I haven't done any pre-show
I believe
research.
you were right.
He's like an existentialist. And, they say that people, go two ways. Deep thinkers, they either go to like, what is this all about anyway? Why am I trying so hard to create meaning in this meaningless world? I'm only here in this world for a moment in time, and I'm getting so worked up about stuff. It's almost stuff like we talk about on the podcast a lot. But then they end up with it's all nothing. And then they realize
There's no positive alternative.
there's no positive. And they just like, why even bother living? And that makes sense in an existential world. So what you have to do is don't think too much, or
Go deeper.
go deeper and think about the source of
Search.
everything. And so sometimes that happens also. You get people like Leo Tolstoy, great thinker, deep thinker, but turn that towards Jesus and, Eastern Orthodox religion. And then you become like, you use that great intelligence for spiritual edification,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think his most important work was the myth of Sisyphus.
Who? Camus?
Camus, yeah.
I think it's The Stranger,
Well,
but maybe.
I guess we're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one, my friend.
Truth, I
But-
read The Stranger back in the day. I can't remember anything about it, though.
But in any case, that's that myth of Sisyphus one is, where you push the rock up to the top of the hill and it rolls down, then you got to go back and push it back
That's
up.
material existence, isn't it?
That's how he apparently perceived material existence, as it's just continuing, continuous suffering, and there is truth in that.
I think I was an existentialist for one day in my life. I've always been like God. I'm a God person.
Okay.
But there was one day I was like, this is nothing. And truthfully, it's a very depressing outlook on life. And so an atheist will say, you're trying to create meaning. And you're trying to create meaning because there is no meaning. And ultimately, there is nothing. What a horrible way to live your life. And first of all, you don't even know if it's true. And then it's sort of like, if there actually is nothing, then anything goes. Then it's like, I'm going to turn around and punch you right in the face right now.
Excuse me.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Now,
Don't you
okay.
understand?
I understand.
We are just like atoms. It doesn't
You're saying
matter.
that there's no.
I can bite you in that world. I could bite you right now, and there's nothing wrong with biting another person
You're saying that there's no standard of morality.
or anything. There's no standard of anything in a world where there's no meaning.
Well, there might be standards of some things, but there's no moral.
Standards are just concocted.
Well,
Morals are just concocted. What, according to who? Who sets the standard?
well, just in nature you can see certain standards, but
Nature. What are you talking about? There's bugs that rip
like
the heads of
water
of other
boils
bugs.
at a certain temperature.
Yes. So what? It means nothing.
All right. We don't. I'm just commenting.
I'll
My
pour it
point
all
is,
over your
I
head,
think
and
this-
then I'll pour it over my
I
head.
just think the significance of what you're saying has to do with more morality, that we don't know what is right or wrong
Sure.
in a world where there's no God. That's the
Sure.
argument. Okay.
Sure. There's no up or down, and left or right. It's just perhaps survival of the fittest.
Okay, well, let's not get too far into that. Why don't we read today's nugget? I mean,
Totally
you get all worked up
totally
here.
depressed. I do get a little worked up because people, in this world where we teach, well, there is no God. That's the underlying statement. It's like anything goes.
Okay. Let us
People,
not.
and people are like, well, no, we can add some rules. We can add some parameters. We can add some guardrails. No, why bother? Anything
Well,
goes in that
they would
world.
say that why bother to make life better, to make this
Yeah,
experience?
who discerns what better is?
We can do that together. We can.
No, I'm not playing your game. I live in anarchy world.
Then we'll kill you.
No, I'll kill you first. And it's going to be okay. In my crazy world of godlessness, it's okay to kill everyone.
All right. Slow it down.
No, I'm just saying that doesn't work.
I know it. I'm in agreement with you,
Okay.
and that goes back to my old friend Andre from
Andre the Satanist.
the leader of the Church of Satan, New York Church.
You know what? It doesn't sound like they're really Satanists. It
You
sounds
don't-
like they're just like rebellious. And I get that.
Well,
And
that is what a Satanist is. Well, at least that's what the Church of Satan is. Again, is
Sure.
that they don't believe in Satan. They're just trying to undo the Christian conditioning that they've been subjected to through
I get that.
upside down Christian ritual. But my point was, when my friend was interviewed on some radio interview, his whole point, the whole point in the whole interview was how all moral standards are man-made, that they have no existential truth, that there's nothing about them that isn't arbitrary.
Mhm.
But towards the end of the interview, then the interviewer said, well, what about something like child sexual abuse? Well, of course, that's wrong.
I know. But- so that's the thing.
Yeah.
They can't live in that
can't-
philosophy. They can't live in that. They'll have to put some
They
morals. in
had
it.
to admit that is
Yeah.
wrong. And then once you admit that is wrong, then you have to say by what standard, by
Sure.
whose standard.
But it's really good. Did you hear about that or something like in, maybe you guys know, in Idaho or something like that. They installed a Church of Satan, you know, what do they worship? The horned goat deity.
Okay.
And they said, well, no, it's like we can have
Religious freedom.
we can have our religious thing here.
Mhm.
And they gave the religious permission to. And then a Christian guy came and he beheaded it and he got arrested for it.
I didn't hear about
You didn't
that.
hear about that? It was like a whole thing.
All right, Ragnar.
It was like
Nugget.
okay.
Camus.
Camus. Here's his.
What does he have to say?
Here's
It's
what he
relevant
said.
to our discussions today.
Oh, here, very interesting here. Every act of rebellion expresses a nostalgia for innocence
Okay.
and an appeal to the essence of being. Now,
Yes.
you could go through like what people are rebelling about today, which I don't feel like doing, um, but like so suppose the guys who are like for climate change and they are like sitting in the road, driving me crazy. Sitting only because I think there's better ways to get your point across.
Okay.
Because now I hate your guts because I'm starving or I got to go to the
I
bathroom.
know that's because there's a problem in the world. You created another problem.
You create another problem to get our point across. But anyway, that aside, my personal opinion aside, Camus would say every act of rebellion expresses a nostalgia for innocence. Because deep down in their heart, whether you like them or hate them, there's like this desire for an appeal to the essence of being. Like, hey, we got to really care about us as living entities in this world. That's what they're trying to say. And it says every act of rebellion expresses a nostalgia for an innocence and an appeal to the essence of being.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this urgency, they're finding an urgency to go to what we are at our very core, which is we're all spiritual beings and we're creating hell for ourselves here. And this is their idea of getting awareness of it. There's some beauty in it.
I think that's part of the idea is whether the rebellion is well conceived or not.
Mm-hmm.
I think what he's saying is that it stems from a nostalgia for innocence. It stems from the desire to be good, right? And generally, that innocence has something to do with selflessness.
Sure.
A type of detachment. In other words, an innocent person hasn't become captivated by the things that corrupt us in life. And
sure.
And sometimes
like the greed, the anger, the lust. There's
all of that.
There's something more important. It could be whatever they're fighting for.
Okay, and or they're fighting whatever has corrupted that
for the collective good.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
For the collective
everybody.
good. Meaning it's not just me anymore. It's not just me and my desires. There's a collective good.
But even if it's an individual thing too, I think. Here's what I was thinking of in relation to this is that sometimes even what's created in order to bring us forward, to bring us towards some good, sometimes those structures actually ultimately hold us back. So in other words, there may be a certain morality. Let's use that for instance. Okay. Society might create a certain standard of morality in order to get us to protect us from our lower nature.
Sure.
But there may be something still higher than that. And to reach that higher, you need to rebel. Now, what we have here is in what we're reading about in Bhagavatam is there's Prahlad. Prahlad is innocent. As innocent as what do they call it? The newly fallen snow, right? Like Prahlad is just like pure to the core.
Just like if you see a 5-year-old as it is, they're almost very innocent. I mean, they're sometimes a little
horrible
a little wild and horrible, but there's an innocence
horrible,
in it.
selfish creatures
making a mess everywhere, screaming on the plane for no good reason. No, there is an innocence in a child, but imagine like a saintly child.
Well, the Prahlad is entirely saintly.
Yeah,
but he's entirely rebellious. His parents and his teachers, they're laying out what they think is for the good of him and the good of their people.
Sure.
And even some of it is kind of like quite reasonable.
Sure.
But he knows that the essence of life, the essence of it all, you could be pious, you can be good, you can reap good results and create a a stable society. But Prahlad knows there's something deeper, and that has to do with the essence of life being the connection with our very source, right? And that connection in love. So a loving connection is like the essence of all being, and he's striving for that. It's an act of it's an act of rebellion what he's doing to achieve it. And I think the whole Bhagavatam is kind of that. It's we have the what the
I'm
what
just thinking of what you're saying, like the analogy is it's so crazy what we've done because Hiranyakashipu is giving, and the teachers are giving really good structured ideas of how
yeah.
it's almost like, we go on vacation from Super Soul, and while we're gone, like a family just moves in, a couple families, and we come back and they're like cooking breakfast and what are you doing here? They just assumed like squatters. We're squatters on planet Earth. And we've assumed like, oh, this is just ours. And we're just going to use the resources and take everything. And well, how is this going on? Where are you getting food? You're just using the resources that are here and claiming it to be your own. And it seems like, well, we got to wake up 5 o'clock. We're having breakfast then. Who's going to mow the lawn today? And we're forgetting there already is an owner, a possessor, a provider. And we're just overlooking that with squatter analogy. You like that? Squatters.
Okay.
You like that?
Yeah.
Taking over.
Squatters don't usually move into the homes of people that are there, though. That would be
No, I
like,
know. We're not there when we came back and we're seeing what happened.
generally squatters don't even move into places that people are coming back to. But okay, but we can work with this.
Well, I don't know now.
It's
Is
kind
that-
of like
it's a
a
thing
home
now.
invader.
Is it home invaders?
Yeah.
Home invaders. Okay, home
Mm,
invaders.
yeah.
Having a party.
Yeah.
Having a party in someone's house.
Yeah. Like they're on vacation. We're all going to go use their pool or something like that.
Pool hopping.
Yeah.
Same type of thing.
And then
we're taking and being organized. Hey, keep the place clean. Like, what are you talking about? It's not even your place. They're trying to create a party without inviting the proprietor.
okay.
How about that?
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly there. But what I was really picking up was you take the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
Now, the Bhagavad Gita is a book. It speaks in the Upanishadic kind of tone, right? There's a lot in the Bhagavad Gita that's going back to the Upanishads. That's hitting on those messages of how beginning we're not the body. We are the spiritual essence that gives life to the body. That it's teaching about detachment and tolerance and different yogic principles like that about how to realize Brahman is there in Bhagavad Gita and so on. But at the very end, it kind of turns its back on everything that's come before it, particularly the Vedas, the 4 Vedas.
Pretty interesting. Huh?
Where it's saying Sarva Dharma Parityajya, abandon all varieties of religious structure, abandon all those dharmas and go for the essence. Just surrender unto me. Just make that, sacred, loving connection with me. Rebel against all of those other teachings, and that's what happens in Bhagavatam, is where you have Vyasadeva, who was such a deeply realized sage, and he's written all this literature that's aimed at people on different levels. He's just trying to help them move one step up, but he's feeling all despondent. And his guru Narada tells him the reason that you're feeling despondent is because you never really presented that essence. You never really, you were kind of presenting nice, organized religion, or, through the Vedas, or still even deeper concepts of detachment.
Which is all interesting.
And valuable. But you're not satisfied until you rebel against that and go the whole way to the divine essence, which is where it's all going. And so Bhagavatam itself is kind of presenting rebels, people that were bucking the system, the religious system,
bucking the Vedic
to
system,
find the
even.
essence.
And
Yeah,
that,
the
and
Vedic.
then that's right from the beginning of the Gita.
Yeah.
When Krishna himself is denouncing the Vedas and saying, you're getting misled by these
flowery words.
Trividyamam Soma Paputa Papa. You follow these rituals in the Vedas, and then you just come down again when you exhaust the pious activities you've done. Then you got to come down again.
It's I was thinking also in terms of innocence and this essence. We read about Vyas. Now, we all have the highest respect for Vyasa. This was the great sage, the Mahamuni, the greatest sage, who compiled all the Vedic literature. He was able to go into deep meditation, have a vision, of how to present this for the benefit of all living beings, categorize it, presenting just like lengthy, beautiful Sanskrit works with inestimable. You can't estimate what he offered in all those texts. So this was a especially deeply empowered spiritual being. His son is Sukadeva Goswami, who speaks the Bhagavatam. And Sukadeva Goswami, he doesn't do what Vyas did. He's actually like just a wild, innocent sage. He doesn't even wear clothes. Right?
Amazing.
And the first canto of Bhagavatam is laying out so much. It's laying out what we need to understand how special this text is. It's laying out Vyasa and his vision. It's laying out the qualification of the hearer, Maharaj Pariksit. And it's also laying out the quality of the speaker, Sukadeva Goswami. And Bhagavatam is going to tell us, like, it's going to show us that scene where Sukadeva Goswami, just in his spiritual freedom and wildness, he just walks away from home, naked, wandering into the forest, just deeply absorbed in his spiritual awareness, and he walks past this lake where there are young ladies that are bathing naked in the lake, and they see him, and they just stay as they are, and then Vyas is following, trying to catch up to his son.
My son.
Yeah, and when they see Vyas, right? Like,
Yes, he's the avatar.
yeah, he's an avatar.
He's the avatar.
And when they see him, they cover themselves up. And he says, "My son walked by here. You didn't cover yourselves up. I walked by here. You cover yourselves up. Why is that?" And they say, "We could just sense that he's entirely otherworldly." So it's showing us his nakedness.
Do not imitate this.
But his nakedness it does symbolize innocence,
Sure.
and that innocence is palpable to these ladies. They can just look at him and see this person has no lust, has no greed, is entirely otherworldly, has no material attachments. That's the person that we're going to hear Bhagavatam from.
Right.
And from that deep innocence, we get the deep spiritual essence. And so Bhagavatam is going to be like no other text. Even of all of Vyasadev's texts, it's where Vyasadeva is going right to that spiritual essence. And it's really important. Anyway, I think we'll get into this more as we go with today's show, but let's hear what happens with Prahlad and this topic.
It was a pretty good nugget.
You like
that nugget right in there.
All right.
Let's dive in. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam madhirayat. Before we started the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author.
Nasta Presha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki.
By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service for the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact.
Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes. With the torchlight of knowledge, I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet.
Okay.
Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 6, Text 25.
Hit it.
Again, we have young Prahlad teaching his friends in school. Here he says, "Nothing is unobtainable for devotees who have satisfied the supreme personality of Godhead, who is the cause of all causes, the original source of everything."
Okay, so yesterday we were hearing about how he was speaking to their possible skepticism. How do you connect with this divine? Is he accessible to us? Yeah, he's accessible to you. He's everywhere. It's not like you can't find him.
He's easily accessible.
And he's also intimately related with every living being. So on that level, you can access him.
Mm.
So he's saying, yeah, you can, you can. Nothing is unobtainable when you approach him with devotion.
I had this realization today while chanting japa.
Yes.
I was just like, the
What
first.
came? What
Well, what came was like
downloaded?
first like a waking up. Today I didn't wake up bright, and I just woke up due to the alarm, and I was a little tired, and it was just like a lethargy and a laziness. And the first couple of rounds I was chanting was just sort of like just like dealing with my own exhaustion.
Okay.
And I sit in front of these beautiful pictures we have, and I was thinking, you know what? I gotta want Krishna for Krishna to want me. I gotta want him because
Gotta burn.
if I don't want Krishna, he's gonna just say, okay, I'm gonna back off too. So today I have to want you, Krishna, and I'm chanting because I want you. There has to be a consciousness. Yes, we do things on a regular basis, regularly, but it can't just be
Mechanical.
roti.
Roti.
It can't be a roti. Can't be rote. It has to be
Alive.
with enthusiasm and live. I have to want Krishna in my life. The chanting has to call Krishna into my life.
Yeah.
Like the Christians say, idle repetition, right?
Vain.
We can't have vain. Is that what they say?
I think something like that. Yeah.
We don't want vain. We don't want vain repetition. We want sincere calling God.
Okay. Nothing is unobtainable.
Nothing is unobtainable. The Lord is the reservoir of unlimited spiritual qualities. For devotees, therefore, who are transcendental to the gunas, the modes of material nature, what is the use of following the principles of dharma, artha, kama, right? Religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, right? That Vedas say these are the 4 stages of human life.
Now, note the rebellious tone here.
Yeah.
What is the use of following these principles that everybody's laying down for us?
And this is the normal civilized life of Vedic life. They're saying, no, there's something higher.
Right.
It is very rebellious. What's the use of going through these stages, which are all automatically obtainable under the influence of the gunas, the modes of nature? We devotees always glorify the lotus feet of the Lord, and therefore we need to ask for any.
We need not
ask for anything in terms of dharma, artha, kama, moksha.
Okay.
Right? You don't have to ask for your desires to be fulfilled or some good work in this world. We're above that. All we want is you, Vishnu.
Why don't you open up that commentary on that? This is a really, it's in what sense, Ian probably has so many commentaries, but in what sense his message here is so important? You gonna read it?
Sure. I thought you were going to say something else.
No.
In advanced civilization.
In an advanced civilization. Oh, yeah, right here.
Oh, you think I need glasses, Mayor? There we go. I don't need. We got it big enough now. In an advanced civilization, people are eager to be religious, to be economically well situated, to satisfy their senses to the fullest extent. Oh, and at last to attain liberation.
Okay, he's saying this is an advanced civilization that's interested in dharma, artha, kama, moksha. It's civilized. Not only is it civilized, it's an advanced civilization. Although Prahlad just said we don't need this. Continue.
However, these are not to be magnified as desirable. Indeed, for a devotee, these are all what? Indeed, for a devotee, these are all very easily available. Bivala Mangala Thakur, he was a great saint, said.
Now, wait 1 second. So Prabhupada's saying dharma, in order to the ability to live a very noble life.
Okay.
Right? Artha, through that, to receive all the gifts of this world, through cultivating good karma, you're getting wealth, you're getting health, you're getting, stability in so many ways. Through that, all your desires are being fulfilled. You're getting the warmth of the family and love. You're getting all the different things that you want. And then ultimately, letting go of it all and becoming free, right? Letting go of it all and becoming free of the the tensions and the pressures of this world. Prabhupada just said that stuff is easy, right, for a devotee. Now that sounds like a really difficult, like hard-working, self-disciplined life and not only that, but it's like successful, and it requires the faith that by living this life, all these good things come, and then it actually happens. And Prabhupada's saying that is actually all for the one that goes to the essence. All of that stuff, which is inessential, it comes easy. And now he's going to quote this like super deep devotee, Bilvamangala Thakur, the beautiful poet, Vrindavan, fully absorbed in love of Krishna. And this is always an interesting verse that he composed.
Here's what he says in English. I'll save you my Sanskrit. Liberation always stands at the door of a devotee. So they're making this distinction between bhakti and mukti.
Yeah.
Right.
Mukti
So
meaning
you want mukti?
peace. Let's call it peace, right?
You want peace? It's already there. It's for a devotee, you've got it. You don't even have to think about it. A devotee's are already going to get that.
It's not like I can't obtain it.
Yeah.
It's sitting there like my slave saying,
yes,
I'm here to
at
serve
the door,
you.
right?
Yeah.
At the door of a devotee, ready to carry out his orders. Material advancement in Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, right? Religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation simply wait to serve a devotee at the first opportunity. A devotee is already in a transcendental position. They don't need, he does not need further qualification to be liberated. Right?
Let's, and of course, liberation is the big one here, right out of the four.
No, it's one of these things. A simple analogy is, I used that example when I was moving to New York City, and all those brahmacharis helped me moving into an apartment is very pain in the neck in New York, because you got to park the truck, which is hard to do. Someone's got to sit in the truck. Someone's got to unload it. Someone's got to get the apartment door open. It takes a team of people to do it. And it's not only is it exhausting, but it's like, you got to pay the people to do it. You got to pay them. You got to
demoralizing.
It's demoralizing. You could get a ticket on your truck, and all the devotees showed up. Keshwacharya, Nam Ras came.
Mm-hmm.
It was just sweet. Maybe Vasudev, I think. Om Rishikesh. They all came and helped them move. And they did it smiling and singing. They didn't want payment. I offered the money. No, we don't want payment. This is just seva. And you think they're performing bhakti. They want to serve the devotees, but they were already in peace. They weren't looking for mukti. They were already peaceful. I was like, listen, it's getting late. Let me at least give you some money. No, Prabhu, we already ate. Everything's good. They are just eager to serve. When you have a desire, I just want to serve, nothing can upset you any longer.
And yeah, you've got everything that you want through Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. You have no desire for that anymore. It's kind of like it's already satisfied.
But a person who's getting paid to do it as their job, they'll be like, well, I worked overtime and I threw my back, or, this is too much for me.
Yeah, they're like saying, I'm doing the Dharma, I'm serving, now give me the Artha.
Exactly. Exactly. Right? The devotees already got peace.
Yeah.
And you could say, well, there's more service to do. Oh, Haribol. Right.
Yeah. Please continue.
A devotee is already in a transcendental position. He does not need further qualifications to be liberated. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Sagunam samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. A devotee is transcendental to the actions and reactions of the three gunas of material nature, right? Something goes really bad for you, a devotee will be like, this is Krishna's mercy. This is a chance for me to grow. This is a learning opportunity. And they're not even thinking like this is a bad day today. They're way above that.
Yeah, they're in touch. It says they're on the Brahman platform. Their platform of awareness is beyond the ups and downs of the changes of the material energy.
That can be a little mantra for us today. Something's going great today. Thank you, Krishna. Something's going miserable. Thank you, Krishna. It's a beautiful day. I'm snowing. It's snowing out. Thank you, Krishna. I slipped on the ice, hurt my ankle. Thank you, Krishna.
Thank you for
right?
sunshine.
I lost one of my shoes.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you for joy. Thank you for pain.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
That was right on the point. That wasn't a squirrel. That was right on your point. Like dead on your point.
Bring in the squirrel.
Cat said squirrel. Okay. Continue, please.
Therefore, in the beginning of the transcendental literature,
Where are you? Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj said, Agunena chak kanksitena. If one is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the lotus feet of the Lord, he does not need anything in terms of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, therefore, in the beginning of the transcendental literature, it is said, Dharma projita kaitavotra. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha are kaitava, false and unnecessary. Nir matsaranam, persons who are completely transcendental to the material activities of separateness, who make no distinction between mine and yours, but who simply engage in bhakti, devotional service of the Lord, are actually fit to accept Bhagavat Dharma.
Okay.
So that's the qualification. What Bhagavat Dharma? Here's a qualification. No more mine and yours.
Yes.
Can I have yours? Because they are nirmatsara, not jealous of anyone. This material world is envious. Oh, you're great.
Pure in heart.
You're very successful. I'm envious. It's not fair. I deserve that.
Okay.
All right. Not jealous of anyone. They want to make They want to make others devotees, even their enemies. Right? It's so big. The whole world is just petty, and you got to be nope. I'm going to overlook their bad qualities, and I'm going to see them as devotees. I'm just going to see them as spiritual beings. It's like Christ says, too, you turn the other cheek, right? What do you do if someone slaps you? You give them the other cheek to slap, It's like not only we're just going to love people that are lovely, we're going to love the jerks of this world, the people that are mistreating me, uncruel, or that are cruel to us. We're going to see something essential in them. It's powerful stuff. Where are we?
Well, you just read because they are near Matsara.
Because they are near Matsara, not just they want to make other devotees, even their enemies. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya remarks, Kanksyate mokshagam api sukam na kanksato yata. Devotees are non-desirous of any material happiness, including the happiness derived from liberation. This is called anyabilasita sunyam jnana karmadinavritam. Karmis, right? The person who desires material happiness, and jnanis who desire liberation. But a devotee does not desire anything. He simply is satisfied by rendering transcendental loving service at the lotus feet of the Lord, glorifying him everywhere by preaching, which is his life and soul.
Okay. So this commentary, it's Srila Prabhupada extending something. It's like it's going back to Sri Chaitanya, like over 500 years ago, who did something. You could call it revolutionary. You could call it, rebellious in a sense, in what we're talking about. And that is that he took the Srimad Bhagavatam and said, look at this book and see how it turns everything that even all this pious, righteous, dharmic tradition that we have, that's all. It's helpful. It's healthy in a sense, but to get to the essence, you almost have to turn it upside down. You have to, in a sense, rebel against it, or at least you could say let go of it. And that is very bold, but how can you make that statement? Are you criticizing the works of Vyasadeva? How does that all work? And now Bhagavatam, like in the popular yoga circles and all that, like in the West, everyone knows about Bhagavad Gita. Everyone knows about Yoga Sutras.
Right.
If you're in some yoga teacher training course, it's likely those books will come up.
Right.
Not so many people, although Bhagavatam, like in India, is just all over the place.
Everybody knows Bhagavatam in India.
It's
one of the biggies.
It's
Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavatam.
Yeah, those three great works that kind of informed their entire culture. Bhagavatam, its importance is widespread, but it's the full understanding of its message is not so deeply understood. Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya shined the light on that. His followers, further expanded on that. And Srila Prabhupada now is extending this to the English speaking or the entire Western world, or you could say the entire globe.
And that's what we're trying to do.
Well, that's in one sense that's our
That's our
thing
mission.
to do, is to
That's
to
our
make the
mission.
Bhagavatam like that. Now, one example of how it turns things upside down, and we were speaking about this last night. If you go to the Veda, there's a story that's told throughout Vyasadev's works in different places and in different ways. You can read about it in the Vedas. You can read about it. I don't know if it's in the Upanishads, but it may be.
Hmm.
It's in the Mahabharata. It's in different Puranas.
Yeah, it's in the oldest,
It-
what they consider the oldest book of the Vedas. I think it was the Rig Veda.
Yes, it's there, and but it's not only there. My point is that it's coming again and again,
Right.
and then ultimately it's told at the conclusion in the Bhagavatam, where
This was a great
where
point you made
Vya-
yesterday. The Vritrasura story and
Yeah.
Indra.
yeah. So Vyasadeva, of course, in the Bhagavatam is trying to give us the highest understanding of it. It's the story of Vritrasura, this demon that fights with Indra, the king of heaven. Now, if you go to the Vedas, when you hear about Indra is always highly respected as being this great,
He's
pious, heroic being. And but when we get to the Bhagavatam, Indra's
Indra's
always
like fumbling around.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if all you know is Bhagavatam,
Indra's
sometimes you
just-
think like he's a demon.
or
He's
he's a fool. He
Yeah.
attacks Krishna and Vrindavan.
Yeah.
It's so how did it get turned upside down? When you read about Vritrasura and Indra in the Vedas, Indra's the total hero. Vritrasura is nothing but a fanged, vicious, horrible demon. By the time you get to Srimad Bhagavatam, Vritrasura is the hero. Now, why is he the hero? It's that even though he's a demon, he's a devotee inside. Even though he was born in a demoniac lineage, even though he was given activities to do that were that were counter to the Devas, who are kind of like the official representatives of Lord Vishnu, he had a deeper devotion to Lord Vishnu than Indra had. And Indra was in that fight for his own selfish purposes, although it was kind of in the guise of supporting Lord Vishnu, that really it had to do with maintaining his own position within the material world. Whereas Vritrasura had no such attachments. He was, I'm ready to die here because my heart is completely devoted to Lord Vishnu and I want to reconnect him. So you get a completely turned, it's saying, you know what? Yes, Indra does represent righteousness and goodness and so on. But that we need to let go of, we need to stop seeing that as the highest thing and see pure devotion. Even if it's in a demon, it must be glorified. And Indra's position must be minimized.
Same story, different vantage point, different narrative.
Exactly. And so now what Prabhupada's doing in this commentary is he's going to the second verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam in the commentary.
A great verse. That's the one about getting rid of all scriptures that are into cheat, meaning you want you're approaching God with desires.
Yeah, Dharma Projita Kaitavo Tva. Herein, in this book, you've read the Vedas, you've read the Upanishads, you've read all these different Puranas and so on. But in this book, herein, religiosity covered by selfish motives, we're going to reject that. This lower stage, we're going to rebel against it. That Dharma may be good for you if you're adharmic, but if you want to achieve the greatest essence of all of this, we're going to kick all that out.
Let me see if I can remember this.
Okay, I can't. You wanted to quote the verse?
I want to quote the verse
right here.
Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated. This Bhagavad Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those who are fully pure at heart.
That's real important.
Right?
Continue.
This beautiful Bhagavatam, the highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all.
Such truth.
What is it?
Uproots
the threefold misery. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity,
is sufficient.
Is sufficient itself for God realization. What is the use of any other scriptures?
Yeah, what is the need?
What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one
attentively
and
submissively
hears the message of the Bhagavatam,
by this culture
of knowledge, one establishes
the Supreme Lord is established
in his
in the heart.
Yeah.
The-
I
it-
wasn't playing a game with you. I just needed.
No, I know.
I needed a
You need
cue.
you need the cues. So this verse is
Beautiful
so
verse. This
much
is the
is said
second
here.
verse of the entire Bhagavatam. Let's do that. That's the homework for the class. Read 1:1-2, which is first canto, first chapter, second verse. Read that 3 times. It's a beautiful verse.
Okay. Yeah, and as this, there's so much important information shared here to give us the proper perspective. We're entering into a new league
Hmm.
of Shastra, a new league of sacred text.
Sure.
Even from
Even
the,
within the Vedic canon.
even within the Vedic canon, even from the same author Vyasadeva, he's letting us know, everybody, this is of a different quality. What I'm providing, we're any of the lower religious teachings that I was sharing before, we're kicking it all out.
Do you ever wonder, like, how's this gonna work? How's this gonna work? You ever- like this whole class today, while you're talking, there's a background voice going, how's it gonna work? How's it gonna click? Because like you were saying earlier, it's like we have to agree on something. Even the Satanist guy was saying, well, no, everything's made up. And then you said, well, what about human trafficking? And well, that's bad. What is the community going to collectively agree upon is the absolute truth? And how do we do that? It seems like everyone's got to agree on something, or else they're going to be like say, there are a lot of good Christians out there, but a lot of them don't agree with vegetarianism.
Okay.
They have a lot of conservative principles, and they want to, they believe in family and protecting the children and all these things like we could rally behind. But when it comes to killing animals, they're like, no, it's not a big deal at all.
Mm-hmm.
How do we actually all get on the same page and follow, one canon of literature?
Well, I don't know if that ever quite entirely happens, but obviously that thing takes very powerful leadership.
Mm.
And when I mean powerful, I mean that which inspires others. So if there are strong Brahminical people that can illustrate the drawbacks of this,
Yeah,
then people can begin to follow.
how things can actually turn around
Sure.
quite quickly.
But let's not that, my friend.
That was not a squirrel, my friend.
That
That's
was
a conversation.
Yeah, but I was working on a point here. It was definitely a conversation. But let me just continue to develop this
All
point.
right, okay.
Okay, so this verse, so much is being shared. One point is being shared
Mhm.
is that he's identified that Vyasa is saying all of my other books, I've been giving you messages that don't go to the essence. They're helpful, they're steps forward, but in this text, and in one sense, they offer a promise. Like if you want to get someone to do something good for themselves and they're not the most intelligent, then you make a promise that this is going to make you happy when you do this. And that's what Vyasa is doing in the Vedas, even in the Upanishads, where he's going to say liberation is going to make you happy. But actually, it doesn't deliver complete satisfaction.
Sure.
So in one sense, it's a false promise. And now he's saying all that cheating is being kicked out now. Now we're going to get to you. Now we're going to share with you what gives you, and it's just a few verses down the road where he's using the term Atma Suprasidhiti, complete satisfaction of self. This is going to come about in the Bhagavatam. And he's going to say this Nirmatsaram Satam Vedyam. This is understandable by who? Who is it being spoken to? The Bhagavatam. Sukadeva is speaking
to Mars
Bricket.
Very evolved.
Those who are near Matsaram, entirely pure at heart. This is real important because the other texts are not necessarily aimed at that person. They're aimed at people with attachments. They're aimed at people that are being heavily influenced by the lower modes of material nature. So a different level of teaching is being given to them. But this Bhagavatam, this is being spoken for people that are pure at heart, where we can give the deepest, most essential truth. And therefore he says, what is the need of any other scripture? If the essence of it is all going to be found here in the Bhagavatam. You don't need to go back to Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. You don't need to go back to these religious rituals and all this. If you understand that the root of all existence is this beautiful Sri Krishna, and the essence of all life is to have a loving reconnection, all of that is standing at your door waiting with palms folded. You don't need to go there. You can just focus on this essential truth.
You know, an analogy, and I've used it a long time ago on the show, but I'm going to say it again. This analogy I've used as liberation, and the problems with the downfalls of liberation. So there's one time when my kids were small, and just the household was tough. Being in the house, it was exhausting, and the kids were needy, and my spouse was needy, and we didn't have that much money. And then I got offered like this great yoga festival in Jakarta.
Okay.
And they wanted to fly me to Jakarta. Everything's paid for, paying me good money, doing tons of workshops. And I was like, oh, all right, this is a good opportunity. So I flew to Jakarta and did a little tour of Southeast Asia, teaching yoga. And they're like, and this is a food coupon. You can get whatever you want. Everything's vegetarian. I was like, oh, this is incredible. And the festival is happening at a water park. So here you are in Indonesia at a water park.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, wow. I like water parks. It's like really hot out. Are we allowed to use like the water park? They're like, yeah, whatever you want. You have the whole day to use the water park. I didn't know anybody. And so there was like no crying babies. There was no duties I had to do. I had to teach a couple classes. And basically I'm at a water park with all I could eat. And, I actually like water parks. Go there with my kids, go there, or when I was young, go there with my good friends. But when you're in a water park alone, it's like awkward. It's like awkward. It's like you're waiting to get on the ride. And they're like, hey, you want to go on with these 3 little kids? There's pictures of me. They take your photo and you're like me with 3 little children. Are those your kids? Like I'm on the wall of somebody's house that they paid for that photo. So yeah, it's awkward. So my point is, you have no more pain. You eat whatever you want. There's no duties to do. You're actually free. But there's a loneliness that comes also with liberation. But when there's actually service, there's always like a joy. The living entity desires relationship. And that's bhakti.
That was Prabhupada's answer when he was asked about what Bhagavatam says about mukti. And again, this is where you're going to get the full information, not the false promise that you'll get from the Upanishads that you're going to be fully satisfied by mukti. Strive for it. That's just to get you to continue to move in the right direction of evolution. But the promise of the complete satisfaction that you're going to find in the Upanishads through mukti gets clarified in Bhagavatam, where it says what you get in mukti is like a drop compared to the ocean of bliss that's found. And it also says that this feeling of mukti is actually unreal, and they fall back down. In other words, you achieve the state of long-lasting, deep peace, but eventually you come back into the material realm of ups and downs. And Prabhupada was asked, why? Why does that happen? Why would someone leave that circumstance of total peace? And he said, because they get lonely.
They get lonely. And, I wanted to be friendly to those kids, but that's weird. I'm friendly. And then if I don't look at the kids, then I'm weird for not. You know what? No one wants to be on a water slide alone.
No.
That's my take.
And this world is one big water slide.
It's a one big water slide. No one wants to be on a water slide.
I think we're out of time, Raghunath. We need Mara over here.
Miss Mara. Boom. How are you, Miss Mary? You having a good day?
Yeah, I'm having a.
Did you wake up excited to live?
I don't know that. Yeah, relatively.
Come down low. We
Okay.
can't see you.
Yeah, can you cue it?
Ugh. Whenever I see your smiling face, I have to smile myself. Because I love you. Yes, I do.
Thanks for the songs. All right. Find philosophy you can live in.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to live that philosophy. You can't just think about it. You can't live that.
Prahlad is pure to the core and entirely rebellious. And innocent.
Yeah.
You want
Okay.
to cue up the music so that it's ready to go?
Oh, I forgot.
You
Okay.
have to turn off
Okay.
the sound though.
Okay.
Bhagavatam presents rebels seeking the divine essence.
Yep.
Nothing is unobtainable if you approach God with devotion.
That's right.
You've got to want Krishna.
You got to want him. You want Krishna to want you? I want you to want me, Krishna.
Yeah, here we go.
Is that?
When your only desire is to serve, you never become upset.
Nope. What's the verse?
Only desire to serve is to serve. You never become upset. I don't know the verse. What verse are you thinking of?
Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami. Whatever. Sort of it. Krishna Bhakti Niskama.
If it's great or miserable, say thank you, Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna. Don't be a roti, be a true devotee.
It's pretty good. Overlook any bad qualities and see the jerks as spiritual beings.
Yeah. Thinking about God right now.
And liberation is like going down a water slide by yourself.
How do you not make that one the big takeaway? The water slide and material existence. Whee! Anyone want to go? Let's have a Wisdom of the Sages water park adventure. That'd be fun. All for Shadam, go with your friends, going down the water slide with Carlos and Chapu and Babananda. Me and Babananda in one of those tube boats.
Karuna looks excited.
Karuna can't come. No kids.
Hey.
It's too dangerous. You can't swim.
She does.
Just kidding. Shauna Garishi will come. Vegan Trucker, Cannonballing. Thanks everybody for joining us. There's a whole message board I missed today. If you're new to the show, want to join us at Zoom, email Miss Mara, wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. She'll send you the secret codes. Email us questions for Q&A day. We're going to be doing that on the road Saturday, driving to Florida. We're taking a road trip. Capo family. Road trip to Florida. We hope to see some of our Florida Wisdom of the Sages people. Going right to Alachua. Then Sunday is Gaur Purnima. We have to have a special Lord Chaitanya show.
Ooh, that's going to be a busy day Sunday. Yeah, a lot going on. Well, Seva, got to do the puja that morning. Got to do the show. At 11 o'clock, I'm going to go to the Vedanta Society.
Oh, that's how you're celebrating Lord Chaitanya.
They're speaking about Lord Chaitanya.
All right.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
The appropriate conclusion.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. And in the afternoon, evening, there's a program at the Bhakti Center.
Well, alrighty.
Sri Prahlad will be speaking. Everybody come to the Bhakti Center if you're in the area.
Everybody come to Alachua.
It's on Sunday. What's that?
Little happy dance. Everybody's doing the happy dance. Come on, Karuna.
It's called the Funky Chicken.
Come on, Ananga. Come on, Cheryl Mervine. Do the happy dance. Come on, Chapu. Bernadette Fortuna. Saraswati. They're all doing it. It's amazing. That makes you happy. Makes you happy. I can live this philosophy. This makes me happy. I'm going to do it. That's part of our philosophy.
To dancing kirtan.
Dancing kirtan makes you happy, even if it's new dances. Come on, Martine, we're doing this dance today.
Greg the Gayson.
Garishi, come on.
We're doing this dance. No, not this other dance.
No, not that other
this
dance.
This one.
One dance today. Get on the page. Ave Maria, come on. Jimmy James, dance. Govinda Priya, come on, shake your wings. Well, keep your hands on the steering wheel, please. The benefit of the other creations. Okay, people. It's a beautiful day for a beautiful day. It's a magical day. Let the magic continue to flow. And Maha Haribo.